Greetings, Patrick here, 8 Questions with, and welcome to another week of the show. Wow, it's been a long week already. Uh, well, we're gonna get into it today. As our very special guest, Lady Shasha. This will be her first time here, and we're gonna chop it up because I got something. I got a bone to pick tonight. And Lady Sasha, I think her and I are going to we're going to hit this one head on. Um, yeah, we're going to save that though. But it's been gnawing in the back of my head for the last 3 or 4 days, and I just feel like I want to vet out a little bit about it. And I think she can understand that, and I think her and I are going to have a really good discussion about it. Anthony is here. He is now almost up to 2007. That's all right. I struck out at the library, Anthony. I struck out. I didn't get nothing. There was nothing there at the library for me. But I am crossing my fingers for next week's bag sale, because I do know that the lady at the bookstore said that she had been hoarding some box sets for the holiday bag sale. So I'm hoping against hope that's what she's been doing. So next week I will be able to get some another haul. But this week it was nada, nothing. Hey, there he is, Stephen from the House of Horrors. Me and the Cheetah, we watched and reviewed his new movie, The Stalking, today, and we were thoroughly entertained by our good friend Mark, aka Stephen. Uh, he was very that was a very fun movie, and he did a really nice job, Stephen. That movie was a lot of fun. Ton of Polonia pals, ton of Polonia pals. Not enough Tim Hatch. Not enough Jim Hatch. Tim Hatch. Not in, and no Kia. Man, I was bummed by that. Uh, hey Jim, how are you? How are you? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. The movie talk with Jim, Sean, and Kenny will be back next Tuesday. I don't know what they'll be talking about, but they do alternate on weeks. So some weeks we get them here at the show, some weeks we don't. Uh, that's right. That's right. Um, no Kia. The Kia was killed in action. But we did see some really nice cars there. We saw the new Chevy. We saw Mark's new Chevy. We saw that. We saw Tim Hatch looking like driving a nice looking car too. I think it was a Toyota, if I'm not mistaken. He was looking pretty dashing behind that. Um, what? Oh, actually will not be back until December 3rd. Sean has a prior engagement next week. Oh, okay. Um, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully everything is okay. Um, we are having fun here this week. And let me tell you, we got 4 shows this week. We got 4 shows this week. One got pushed back till Saturday, and that was our discussion with Sam Dobbins and Craig Hammond. That got pushed back till Saturday for a matinee show. That will be here. Let me get November going here. I'm in a hurry to get to December, and I still got November. So yeah, so Sam and Craig will be here with us on Saturday at 5 p.m. and 2 p.m. So that'll be cool. All right. Steven said he just crossed over 700. He's gonna go see Wasp. You guys should just do the show regardless of that. That's actually really a good thing when you have a tri host like that, Jim. Is that when one person takes a show off for some reason, you still got 2 co-hosts. You still can just go ahead and do the show, keep it going. Just an idea. Wasp, man, oh my God, those guys are still around. Uh, okay. Well, you can get 20 hours a month for free from StreamYard if you guys do that. I'm just saying if something happened, if something happened like this, you could still have 20 hours in your back pocket. I'm just the talent, not the brains. Nobody put Jim in the corner. Okay, always gonna happen. Um, Yeah, I got a ping from Kenny last night. He pinged me and he said that Hamilton Book had did a drop and they dropped the first and the fifth season of the Twilight Zone, and to let me know so I could go pick up a couple so I can go pick up the season 1 and 5, so I can get that, and so I did. So I'm pretty happy about that. There's Mike from did you see that? I feel like I'm after his title. I'm going to take Mike's title as reviewing the funnest low budget films going now. I'm going to be taking that over. We're going to kick Mike up. We're going to kick Mike up to the A-listers. He'll be sitting over there talking about all the Oscar movies because we're taking over the bad movies. That's right. Waffles is here, and Waffles will be here on Thursday at 8 o'clock. Uh, Waffles is we're gonna do our very best. We're gonna do our very best to jumpstart him back into the 2000s. He is stuck in the 80s. I don't know who's more stuck in the 80s, Waffles or Anthony. Uh, uh, Haunt season. Yeah, I'll have to wait for it to get over on one of the free services. Now there's there's three free services. One for the first time for me was Fossum. I'd never been over there before today when I went over and watched the Stalking. And then there's also Found, which is a streaming service dedicated to found footage films. And so you can go over there and check that out. And there's a lot of found footage films out there. Holy crow! I would think that someone would have made that like a sub channel, but I guess there's enough out there now that they can do a whole channel based on found footage. Um, that's going to be very exciting. So I went over and I watched. I'm Haunted over there. Love that movie. I think I swam upriver with Brandon Rhines from Higher Universe, in the fact that everybody I do have to see Grotesque. I do have to see Grotesque 1 and 1 and 2. I do got to still do that. But I'm so hooked on the I'm Haunted series, that that's the one I want to check out. That's because I love the first one so much. It's such a fun movie, and it kicks ass, and it has one of the cutest moments in any horror movie I've ever seen. At the climax of the movie, it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Um, yes, that's it. I'm not sure if it's called it. I didn't know it was an app. I thought it was a website, Stephen. I think it's a website, like a Tubi or a Fossum. Yeah. Let's see. So tomorrow we have let me say this right. Chase Cortez D Vargas will be here tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I do believe I said that name right. And I have no fear of that name, unlike with Lewis's name last week. Um, and then, of course, like I said, Waffles will be here Thursday at 8 o'clock, and we're going to be chopping it up. He found his page. Thank God. How'd you do that, Michael? How did you recover your page? That's amazing. I've never heard it. I mean, you must have written the password down somewhere, because I thought you were gonna have to restart the whole damn thing. But then I look over and there's like I want, oh shoot, there's Waffles. He's got his channel back. So that's amazing, because you were doing really, really well the second time around. We know for sure you canceled your very first channel, the channel that you and I met on. I know you canceled that one, and then you started this one up, and then you shut that one down. I'm so glad you just shut it down. You just, you could do that with YouTube. I think you have a year. I think you could shut down your channel for I don't know. And I take it back. I don't think there is. As long as you know the password to your channel will stay forever. But I think after a while, I mean, like, if it's like 2 or 3 years, maybe, and there's like no activity from it, they might come by and sweep it away. But I've seen channels out there with no activity on there, and they've been out there for years, just sitting there. Uh, he gained 1,000 subs in like that. Wow. Oh, shorts. Okay. Okay, you're doing the shorts thing. Yeah, I got to do some more shorts. Well, that's good though. I thought you found your old page because I saw how fast you grew. So I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy fast. Do shorts. I know I do shorts. I have the cheetah out there. I do cheetah shorts. I guess I got to do more of those, especially since they're 3 minutes long. Next week we will be back with three more. Um, three more on the 20th, on the 19th. We have actress Tiffany Asagio will be here with us. Tiffany. On the 20th, we have actress Zeli Alvaretopoulos. She's a Greek actress. She's a Greek actress. She is appearing in the brand new Clint Eastwood movie, Juror Number Two. Um, I had thought they had expanded that. I thought they expanded the screens for that movie, but and Warner Brother and they're continuing spiraling downward. They did indeed only let Juror Number Two run for 1 week, one freaking week, and they did not tell release to the public. It did not release the box office returns. I was just, I talked about this last week, and I'll talk a little bit right now. Hey, it's Dell. Look who's back. Um, oh, okay. You have to send me that video, Waffles. Send it to me on my Instagram. That's the only thing that gets confusing about with tags. I know that Mike had mentioned to keep tags underneath 15, 10 to 15. But I see people doing it all the time, and they get tons of views. I think personally myself, I think I get shadow banned because I sort of run a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I say all the bad words that YouTube doesn't want people to hear. I'm not talking about curse words. I'm talking about political aspects of things. Um, so I think they shadow ban me. They don't run they don't run my channel very often. They don't push it out very often. So because I rarely ever get new faces in any of my streams or any of my videos. I rarely see new faces, very rarely. So that tells me that I'm not being pushed out. But I don't really care. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. The Indie Escape Network. Greetings. That's Joe. How are you? Glad you're here. Glad you're here, Joe. It's time for us to team up again sometime very soon. Um, I will say this though, for the first time, I did an open cattle call over on Threads. I went over to Threads and I said, "Hey, I'm Patrick. I run a podcast. I like to hear your story." Um, and then I got jumped. Got jumped. I got about 18 to 20 people answering me back right away. Um, the thing is, though, it's like I was mentioning to Steven because he runs the House of Horrors, as you know. You want to try to keep a balanced guest list. Like out of the 20 people that pinged me, about 18 of them were dudes. No problem there, but I don't want to do all dudes. So I'm trying right now. I'm trying to get to balance it out. So there's half half ladies, half guys, so we can even balance. But I was really surprised how fast people jumped in on there. And there's one I'm really hoping to get. I'm not going to mention his name quite yet, but I really hope to get him. Actually, a couple of guys I want to get up here. They have big projects, and they said they want to come talk to us. So we're going to see about getting them on the show as soon as possible. And speaking of big names, speaking of that, because that's what you're here for. That's what you're here for. So on the 21st, we have film director Jason Bork will be here with us. Now, Jason Bork, I know you guys aren't Hallmark fans, but Jason, that's how I met Jason Bork through when he's directing a Hallmark. Now he directs anything. He is a fine director. He's a producer. He is a force, and I'm looking forward to it. I've been trying to get him on this show on and off since I started it. I did a printed interview with him. On the first the first incarnation of 8 Questions with my blog. I did an interview with him, but I have not been able to get him to do the live show until now. And I feel very lucky to get him, considering come next month he'll probably be like releasing 2 or 3 films for Hallmark, either as a director or as a producer, and his time will be very, very limited. So I feel very blessed to be able to get him in here, and we're going to be talking about Christmas movies and holiday movies and whatever else we could think of. So that'll be Jason Bork, and that'll be on the 21st. On the 24th, on the 24th, come back here on Sunday on 8 o'clock. Sunday 8 o'clock. The IFC nights will be back here on the channel. We'll be talking about A Perfect Day that came out. It was one of my very first IFC movies I ever bought and ever watched, and it's an amazing movie. It's not a horror movie. It's an IFC movie. It's not an IFC midnight movie, but it's a gut puncher. It's a good movie, really good. Some humor in it, some dark humor into it, some sadness. It's the topic is rather rather timely. There is Mika and Kira. How are you? Glad you guys are here. I sort of wish I had you guys up here for this one, because I got a bone to pick. Man, do I got a bone to pick. So when Lady Shasha gets here, we're gonna chop into it. I want to know what you guys think. I really want to know what you guys think about this, because I have a bone to pick. I really do. Let's see what else is coming up here. So that'll be 8 o'clock on Sunday the 24th. Tuesday is Thanksgiving week. We only have 2 shows for Thanksgiving. We will be man, Threads is not bad, Dell. I like Threads. I have to get into it a little bit more, but man, it's cool. It's all right. But if you're going to use it to promote, I mean, it's great to promote yourself within that community. But as you can see here, they don't travel very much. It's the same thing with Twitter. You can post on it, but trying to get people to come out to you from it has been a real bear. I don't, like I said, I don't see very many. She's here. Let's go get Lady Shasha. I'm ready to rock and roll. You guys stay tuned, because we're going to bring something to you. I want to hear you guys' thoughts about this. All right, here we go.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, Lady Shasha?
All right. I just overheard you talking about the lack of a conversion rate from Twitter over to YouTube, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yes, I've experienced that. Like Instagram, it's so. I think the best conversion rate I've seen is from TikTok. If I post like a little snippet from one of my videos from TikTok, people are more likely to migrate from TikTok to YouTube and back, whereas Twitter people kind of want to stay on Twitter.
Yeah, it's always been a real bear, because when I first started my my written blog, I was on Twitter, and I would do Follow Fridays. I
Yeah.
love Follow Fridays. Follow Fridays was my jam, but I could not get them to travel. Like like I just couldn't. And even when I booked that, I booked a couple of guys from my Twitter feed. I did an interview with them. It was written, but I did an interview with them, and I thought, okay, we'll get a few hits, come over, and comment. Did not travel. Did not travel, and like Discord doesn't travel over here. I get mine actually. I think I get mine from. I think I get my following from Facebook.
Oh,
according to my analytics. According to analytics, they say that that's for outside of outside of YouTube itself. I get all my traffic from Facebook.
Oh, I need to post more on my community page on Facebook.
Yeah, I've been using my community page, for polls and stuff like that. And I share the show out. I commented how I put it up for the first time. I did a cold call on my threads, because everybody says, I'm always looking for these type of people. So I decided to do that myself. I said, I'm a podcaster. I have 8 questions with, and if anybody wants to share their story, and then I got jumped by 20 people wanting to share their story. It was awesome, except that 18 of them were dudes. So like, I'm glad they're there, but I sort of was hoping for like a 10 to 10, or 18 ladies and 2 guys. I could live with that. But you know what? I have something, and we have a nice little crowd here. I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Hi, Brene, how are you? Glad you're here. Stephen, hi, how are you? You are back in Maryland. I hope that is I hope that it's a good time. So I got this just burning in my craw this week, and see if you can see what you think about it. So we lost Tony Todd this week, right? Actor Tony Todd. Man, I mean, Tony Todd's a living legend. He's got over 200 credits. I mean, when he passed away, everybody came out of the woodwork saying how Tony Todd was great and he's awesome. And I'm looking at all this and looking at all these big stars come out there and comment on, Tony Todd was like, he was the man and all. The more I heard, the more I saw people commenting on that, the more pissed off I got. Because Tony Todd was a great actor. If he's so great in your eyes, not mine, but their eyes, if he was all that in a cup of coffee, and this might rattle a few cages, but why the hell was he stuck doing some shit ass movies all the time? You look at his IMDb. Honestly, it's garbage. It's garbage.
Well, I can
for the man of that talent.
I have a theory.
Let's hear it.
Well, I Double Feature knows this story before, because I've told it before on Instagram in a chat. But Tony Todd is from Hartford, Connecticut. He grew up 2 houses down from my mother, my uncle, and my aunt. So they grew up knowing him, and he always said he was going to be an actor since he was a little kid. And when I was about college age, I didn't believe them. They would tell me stories of like, Tony did this and that. And I'm like, which Tony? Like, what are you watching on television? I didn't believe them. They had him call my grandmother's house while I was there and do the Helen voice over the phone. It was really, really cool. But from what I know of people from that area, including my mother, who she for a while went into entertainment industry. She was a singer. What happens sometimes is if you can be the greatest talent in the world, but if you are unwilling to participate in certain activities, you can kind of be always put on the outskirts. I know it's kind of conspiracy-ish, but I truly believe that certain people, if you don't play a certain game, if you don't participate in certain activities, then you're not going to get the same type of leverage and roles that people that do participate in those activities get. But that's just a theory.
I mean, it just frustrates me because the 90s he was hot. I mean, go back and look at it. I mean, he was on The Rock. He did The Crow. He did Candyman. I mean, he did the remake of Dawn of the Night of the Living Dead. I mean, the man was on fire. But then he just dropped.
Oh, there's another reason that could have happened too. The same, I call it the Brandon Fraser effect, because Brandon Fraser was everywhere. He was amazing. He was great, and then suddenly disappeared. Turns out there was a producer that tried to grope him, and when he rebuffed the producer's groping, things dried up. So I always call it, when I see an actor that's really hot and then all of a sudden they disappear, I always say, he got touched. I'm like, somebody tried to touch him and he said no. I know this has turned really darker than what I thought it was going to be, but these things happen.
Yeah, I mean, Terry Crews said that. I mean, think about that. I can't even imagine anybody walking up there and trying to put a finger on Terry Crews without his permission. I just can't imagine. What are you? To me, it's like, you heard of suicide by cop. It'd be like suicide by Terry Crews. I mean, that guy, his shadow could bench press you. But I just thought about that, and I think of all these big names that were coming out there commenting on Tony Todd and how how he's this and how he's that. And I just looked at him and like, if he was all that in a cup of coffee, like you're sitting here, how come we're talking with people with clout too, Sasha. We're not talking about someone on 16th on the call list here. We're talking people big new A-list.
You also approach it the opposite. Why certain people that seem to have no talent at all keep getting roles over and over and over again?
Right. I mean, come on. You try to tell me that you can't use him for any of your big projects. I mean, it was just amazing to me. And it's like, wow, everybody's kissing his ass now that he's dead. But when he's alive and he's griping along doing these little, one-day shoots, here for one day. And then, it's like, how come none of you ever used your clout to get him a role on the movie? He had a fan base. That's the thing about it too. It's like whenever he saw his face on the cover or his name, you're going to check it out. You just know damn well you are, because it's Tony Todd. But man, oh man, it's like after a while you start looking at some of the movies he was doing, and it was just like, man, this is painful. Yeah, because he's so much better. He's so much better.
Eric Roberts and Michael Madsen. Those are two actors I feel like they would act in anything. They don't care how low budget, how small the project, they will show up. Those two actors, Michael Madsen and who did I just say? Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts. The thing about Eric Roberts is this, though, and this is what really makes him. Eric Roberts brings his A game, just like Tony Todd does. Yeah. I cannot think of a single time I saw Tony Todd in any of his movies where he says, I'm Tony Todd, I don't have to do anything.
Exactly.
He always gave his best. So did Eric Roberts. I can't say the same for Michael Madsen.
Michael Madsen.
Yeah. I mean, he just showed up and get us checking out, but Tony Todd, I mean, he tried it, he tried his best for all the movies that he did. And I just thought all the people sitting out there fawning over him, a lot of the A-list just fawning over him, just like,
it's one of the reasons why when my maternal grandfather passed away, he didn't have a funeral. He purposely told us, don't give me a funeral. And we asked him, why don't you want a funeral? He said, anybody that wanted to see me could have seen me when I was alive. Don't come see me after I'm dead, after I'm gone. I can't even appreciate you coming to see me after I'm gone.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Let me roll over to the chat. Everybody's engaged here. Tony Man 100, welcome in, sir. Welcome in. He was in several Hatchets. Yes, he was. That was probably the biggest role that he had done outside of Final Destination. And that's another thing too. Think about this. I remember, and you probably, everybody in the chat can remember this too, when they did the remake of the sequel to Candyman in 2021. So jazzed. Tony Todd's gonna be in the movie. So jazzed. Yeah, here it comes. Nia Costa and Jordan Peele producing it, and they bring it back Tony Todd, and Tony Todd saying, if they call me, I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I'm going to be part of it. I'm glad. Man, I was pumped. I mean, everybody was like, "Oh hell yeah, Candyman!" Right? And then I was talking to a friend on here. He just came out and he goes, "I saw the movie." I says, "Yeah, I can't wait to see Tony Todd back." He says, "Well, don't blink because you'll miss him."
Yeah, I didn't like that. I like the concept of the movie. I like some of the kill scenes in the movie, but it's the same issue I have with that remake to Nightmare on Elm Street. I just feel like Robert Englund is Freddy. That's who Freddy is. Tony Todd is Candyman. That's who they are. Like you can't swap them out like Michael Myers and Jason. You can't swap them. No, you can't do it. It's just not a thing.
I can understand if you pet, because that's how I thought it was going to go. I really did. I thought that it was going to go whereas Daniel was going to pass the torch on to the
Yeah,
next Candyman. That makes perfectly good sense. I mean, Tony Todd, he was in the 70s then. It's like Freddy's in his 80s now. Robert Englund's in his 80s. They can't do that shit anymore.
yeah,
They just can't do it. But when you show a movie where they're passing the torch on to somebody else, younger and what that makes perfect sense. I can dig that. But man, I see people always sitting there going like, "Yeah, get Freddy back." If Freddy can barely move,
yeah. He is. He's
I mean, what's he gonna do? Chase after everybody in Elm Street with a wheelchair? A walker? It's like, um, let's see. I want to say hi to Caveman Movies is here, and brother Max is here. So what do you guys think about this? And it's interesting you mentioned this too, Sasha, because there is another actor who lays it on he puts it right there on the shoulder, and he's not afraid to talk about it. There's another actor who is a leading man, who's a leading man. He has leading man looks, but he won't do the romance scene.